Hello and welcome to Tea Break Film Reviews. My name's Michelle and today I'm going to be reviewing Unhinged. Surprisingly and somewhat annoyingly, this film turned out to be much better than I thought it would be, so hold your road rage and hear me out. Before we start, please consider subscribing to help support this channel so we can keep making videos like this. Unhinged is the story of a man who confronts a driver that beeped at him at some traffic lights. After she rudely refuses to apologize to him, he decides to teach her a lesson about how her actions can have dire consequences. And I mean really, really dire. When I watched the trailer for this film, I found the premise frankly hilarious. It sounded like something a film student had come up with when trying to think about how to turn the concept of road rage into a feature film. I expected the usual action-packed nonsense with explosions, plot holes, and idiotic protagonists, and though that makes up maybe 10% of this film, the rest is rather good. And what makes it rather good is that the premise is something most people watching will have experienced. We've all seen at least one example of someone trying to multitask whilst driving, whether being on their phone, applying makeup, maybe trying to eat a whole bucket of fried chicken. We've also likely been stuck in traffic at some point, gradually becoming more and more late to something. I am a pretty chill person behind the wheel, but I know the feeling of having someone tugging at my last straw with their reckless driving. Russell Crowe's ominously called the man character is unnamed precisely because he could be any stranger. He's been through some terrible things which we get snippets of information about throughout the film, but ultimately he's meant to show that we each have our own problems that we're dealing with. When he politely asks for an apology from Rachel, I was with him. Yes, he spends the rest of the film in a psychopathic killing spree, but there were still moments where I was guiltily siding with him. It's quite simple to create a killer that is easy to hate, but definitely more difficult to create one that inspires the tiny voices in our heads to say, hey, he has a point. It helps that Russell Crowe was super engaging. He had a great mix of angry rants and disturbingly calm conversations. Caren Pistorius as Rachel was also impressive, considering that she has to spend the entire film in high levels of stress and anxiety. She never once defaulted to laughable hysterics. Given that so much of the film is on the road, praise has to be given to the cinematography that made each driving sequence a nail-biting event. They immersed us in reality by not having unbelievable Fast and Furious style stunts, but by having normal people frantically trying to dodge traffic and sometimes not succeeding. This was assisted by the fantastic soundtrack that absolutely doesn't let up, and the editing that helped deliver a slick 90 minutes of well-paced content. I will say though that there were moments where they were a little too on the nose with the foreshadowing. An example of this is the multiple shots of Rachel's phone that we're given right before the man steals it. This was unnecessary and part of the aforementioned 10% of this film that isn't quite right. Another part is how long it took Rachel to decide to go to a police station, though I am willing to allow this a pass considering how high the stakes were within the specific timeframes the man was giving. Overall, Unhinged is a thought-provoking thriller that keeps its foot on the pedal. Its premise may make you want to facepalm, but it's been effectively utilized to create the cinematic embodiment of road rage. It's the perfect film to give some perspective on what a bad day actually looks like. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to see more videos, and comment with your thoughts on the topic. When was the last time you should have just said sorry? This has been Tea Break Film Reviews. My name's Michelle, and I hope you have a great day.